I can see here too. Awesome. Facebook. All right. It looks like we are live. We did it. All right, everybody, bear with me just a moment, everyone. Just getting everything together. And wherever you are watching from, be sure to say hello. And let's see where everybody's coming from. And yeah, see my... So if I am not on Instagram, I'm going to make a post and see. So Instagram's being fun with me today, having fun with me, everybody, today, and it keeps logging me out. So let's see. It says that I'm on. And today we have Diego on. He just came out with the African Gods Oracle. So we are going to dive into that a little bit. I did do a walkthrough on my Instagram, which you guys can probably get onto it before I can at this point. But yeah, and all of my wonderful non-pronunciations. How are you doing today, Diego?
I'm fine, Jen. Thank you. What about you? Are you good?
Besides, of course, the hiccups, I'm doing pretty good. But we are live on Facebook, so we are live somewhere. It's happening.
Okay.
It's happening. So I'm just trying to see if I can even try to get on to... I can't believe it's so weird that it keeps logging me out. Like, I can't even really post on it. Whatever.
Have you tried to clear the browser cookies?
I did. It was, you know, it's been kind of weird. I'm seeing if I can add on my story, and if it'll work. Let's see if we can get that at least to work. So here is the African Gods Oracle, and this is published by Rockpool, and this is out now. Yay! So, Diego, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, where do you live? How did you even get into this? Like, give us all the details.
Okay, so I'm Diego de Ochosi. I guess Ochosi is the better English pronunciation for that.
I was waiting for you to tell me. Okay, because I was going to try to pronounce it. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm going to wait for you to tell me what it is. Perfect.
Then, I'm Brazilian. I live in Brazil. And the X in Portuguese words has the ch, the ch sound. Okay. So in Portuguese, with Brazilian accent, it would be Oxóssi. But I guess the best way to say is Ochosi. That goes very well.
Perfect. So Thank you.
I'm Diego de Ochosi. I was born and live in Brazil. And since my childhood, I've been involved with African American and African Brazilian spiritual traditions. Brazil has the biggest Black population in the world outside Africa.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And historically, from about 6 million enslaved African people that came to the Americas all over the centuries, Brazil got 4 million of them.
Wow.
So we have outside Africa the biggest black community in the world, and that for about 500 years now, it created a huge spiritual background that formed a lot of spirituality in Brazil. So we have traditional African cults in Brazil with traditional African practices, and we have a lot of African Brazilian practices, because during the slave trade and all these 5 centuries, the enslaved people got in touch with the indigenous people, the gypsies, and other ethnics that came to Brazil. And that created a whole mingle of traditions and spiritual practices that we have until now in Brazil, until nowadays.
Wow.
So since my childhood, I've been involved with this. My grandmother and my godmother, they were mediums in Umbanda, which is one of African Brazilian practices we have.
Okay.
So I grew up in this spiritual environment, getting to know a lot of versions of this. And when I got, I guess I was 23 or 24 years old, I was initiated into a Orishas practice called Candomblé, which is the Orishas religion. Just like Cuban Santeria, we have Brazilian Candomblé.
Okay.
So I was initiated in Candomblé, and 7 years later, I got my priesthood.
Oh, wow.
And when we get our priesthood title, we are invested with what in a raw translation I call the cowrie shells oracle, which is, I don't have one cowrie shell here to show, but
I think I have one. I have one.
Oh, you have a cowrie shell?
I do. I have one right here.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
I actually have a
exactly
necklace too. Yep.
Exactly that.
Yep.
So the traditional oracle for the Orishas is the cowrie shell divination, which can only be performed by Orishas priests or priestesses.
Oh, okay.
And they are used for not only for fortune telling, but mostly for, as I used to say, it takes a photograph of our present life and makes us understand what's going on now and how these situations will be in the future if we don't do anything about it, or if we change this or that situation, be it with practical life decisions or with magical rituals and spiritual practices that can turn things up, So based in this traditional oracle, which is the right way to foresee the future with the Orishas, in this traditional oracle, we have basically 16 destiny roads, 16 destiny paths that we call odus. So each one of these 16 odus, they have their own names and their own meanings. So we have the opportunity of, I guess my video froze. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Live? Are you seeing and
I can hear
okay,
you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry. Okay.
Nope, that's okay.
So the 16 main nodes, they can be used in two ways. One of them is throughout the traditional oracle for checking some spirituality issues, checking some magic rituals we need to do, or something like this. But just like the horoscope signs, these tools are also related with our date of birth. And then they define a lot of personality characteristics, the way we deal with the world, the way people deal with us, and how we answer to that, and all this day-to-day dynamics. And based on this point of view and this kind of assessment, looking for someone's date of birth and odus of birth and how we interact with each other and with the real world throughout the odus influence. Based on this can be performed by anyone, even an initiated or not. So based on this point of view about the odus and how the odus are not only a sacred Orishas road where the gods and goddesses influence us, but also the road, the energetic and the symbolic roads we go throughout life. That's what brought me to create the Orisha, the African Gods Oracle, the Orishas card deck. Because there are a lot of ways, there are some things that only an initiated priest or priestess can perform, but there are a lot of other practices and true practices that can be done by anyone. And people can relate with the Orishas, people can get advice by the Orishas, people can know themselves better throughout the Orishas knowledge.
Oh, I love that.
So talking with Lisa, which is the owner and editor-in-chief of Rockpool, we met in London Book Fair about 3 years ago. and I presented to her some projects. I run a publishing company in Brazil,
Oh, okay.
specialized in mind, body, and soul titles and African Brazilian spirituality.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so I presented her my projects, and she said, "Diego, let's transform this into a Eurytia's deck. This is amazing." And I said, "Well, let's go for it. Yeah, let's
take yes, always yes.
And Eurytia's messages throughout the world." And that gave life to this amazing and most beautiful Orisha's art I know until now. Breno, which is the illustrator of the deck, is a huge artist, and I guess he accomplished more than I could imagine by creating the art for the African Gods Oracle. And that's the whole idea. So I get the traditional oracle and the traditional wisdom of the Orishas, and translated this to a language that non-initiated all over the world can get these advices, can get to know them better. And that's the whole idea of the oracle. More than to foresee the future, more than to fortune telling, is to create a self-knowledge and self-empowering tool. So once you get a card and let's say Ogunda shows up, of course, there are a lot of spiritual messages and backgrounds on Ogunda Odu, but when I take a card from the deck and Ogunda shows up, he's saying, today is the day of being the strongest person you can be. Today is the day of being the most strategic person that you can be. Just throughout choosing your battles, Ogunda is the Odu, the energy of the day-to-day battles. Just by choosing the right battles to confront, is that you find happiness and success. And that's the main goal of reading the African Gods Oracle, get to know how you can put yourself better in the world for your life and to achieve your most desires.
Right. Yeah. And I love that too, because that's something that I've always been very interested in. And I've, and it's funny because like recently I had done my, like the DNA and all of that. And I found I was 10% African. And I thought that was so cool. Yeah. And I'm, and I'm Puerto Rican too. So, that's kind of how, that all flowed into each other. And so that, and it's funny because it's always been something that, like, I always, like, I'll see something, I'm like, oh, I need to learn, I want to learn about that. And I never knew really why I was so drawn to it. So that kind of made more sense to me. And so I really love that you can take them and really learn about the Orishas too. And like you said, like, you can really learn from and see, because there are so many. Now, and I love too that you can even pull a card and then you can learn more about that one, and because maybe that's the one you need to learn about, and then you're learning along and kind of building your practice as you go along by using this deck. So I really do, I love that. And I love too that you had put the like the little saying down at the bottom, like you were you were just talking about. Because it kind of gives you an idea of like, okay, so this is the energy I need to harness. This is, okay, so maybe this Orisha, that's what they're about. And maybe that's something in me that I need to start, diving into a little bit. So even like to take one of these and journal on it, there's so many ways I feel like that you can use these cards. So that's, that's a really cool thing. And, I read tarot, and I was even thinking like it would be really cool to even pull a card at like an end of a reading too, to be like, this is what we just read about, this is what you need to do and all of that stuff, kind of like the cowrie shells, but here's this energy that this is what's going to help you, go along the way. So, I really, I'm really enjoying them, and I love the black, like, gilding on the
they done amazing.
They really did. They're so, and the art is just, it's really cool, and I love the colors. just go so well with them. And I have to tell you, this card keeps coming up for me. I've pulled it like 5 times, but I love him. I don't know why. I'm like, I just absolutely love him, and I'm like, I just love this card so much, and I don't know why, but it's just so funny because every time I pick it up, that's like the card that pops out at me. So apparently that's who I should be playing.
I'll give it just a glance on what it can be.
Yes, tell me.
I love your awesome card too. Actually, this is the sign that rules my birth. So I have this. Yeah, I have this.
That's awesome.
Intimacy with this energy, and Eurosun is the death card, the physical death and the symbolic death.
Right.
But more than death, it is the ancestors calling. So when Erosun comes often, we may think, oh, where do I came from?
Right.
How do I got here, and how do I honor those who came before me?
Yes.
And this is a huge key to meditation with this card.
Right, and that makes so much sense with what I was just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fine. I'm listening.
Puerto Rican background, and let's look for that.
Right. Oh my God, that's so funny. So, how can you find out which Orisha you're associated with your birth date, or and all of that? Like, where is a good place to find that?
Well, we have two aspects to define here.
Okay.
Because the Orishas are not related with our birth date.
Oh, okay.
The Orishas are kind of they are gods and goddesses. They are the African gods and goddesses, and we believe and we understand that just like we have a biological mother and father in physical life, we have our spiritual mother and father in the spiritual life.
Okay.
So in order to discover, to find out, and to define which are our spiritual father and mother, the only rightful way to get to know this is throughout a Karishal divination with a priest or a priestesses.
Got it.
This is the only safe way. There are a few techniques that people spread around. Oh, you do the math, or you consult some card. But I gotta, as a Orishas priest, I gotta be honest with this and say, to know your head Orishas, your spiritual father and mother, your spiritual parents, the only rightful way is to get a Karishal divination.
Okay.
On the other hand, we look at the Odus, which is the meaning. We have, for each card, we have a Orisha in the figure and the name of the Odu, so the spiritual road throughout this Orisha influence our life. So it's like we have these 16 roads from heaven to earth, and the Orishas transit by this throughout these roads. And these roads, they act like horoscope signs. So this is so we can find out which is our sign, our African sign, and this is basically done by adding up the digits of our date of birth.
Yep.
And just like our Western numerology.
Right.
So you get your full date of birth, sum up all the digits, and the difference is that if you will do the math, and up to 16. You won't reduce the math.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
You have 1 to 16. Okay, that's the number that represents the Odu. But if you get 17 or more, then you reduce by adding up the digits.
Okay.
Then you get your this will define your birth Odu, your main sign. Basically, making a parallel with astrology, it will define your sun sign.
Okay.
But you can now, based in your date of birth, you can also create a whole Orisha's birth chart.
Oh wow!
You can understand. Yeah, you can from your birth date, you can take your main sign, and 5 other Odus, 5 other energies that will influence each area of your life. What's the energy that rules my temperament? What's the energy that rules my relationships or my profession and financial skills? What's for me the most important and the most powerful Odu of this whole map is what we call the inner transformation, the the negative Odu of birth, which is actually what are the challenges that I need to pursue and to overcome to become the best person I can be.
Right, yeah.
And there is a gift for every oracleist, everyone who gets the African Gods Oracle. There are a web link in the intro book where you can go on. I just don't remember now the full address.
Right.
But you go there, you bought the oracle, you get your full Orisha's birth chart as a gift. You just need to sign up in my website, then you get fill your data and get the Orisha's birth chart.
Right.
And this whole theory for those who like personality assessment, for those who like birth charts and this kind of stuff. All the theory of the Odus and how they relate with our lives and how we can improve ourselves by this shadow working and everything like this. It all came from this deeply hearted book I have from Destiny Book, which is African Brazilian numerology.
Oh, I need that one.
This is from Destiny Books. It was released last year. And it's a whole course on Afro-Brazilian numerology. It will show up how to do the math, how to interpret and assess all the Odus in each area of the map and everything like that.
Okay.
But if you want to know better yourself, if you want to know your Orisha birth chart, you get this full access, free and full access by getting the African Gods Oracle. This is a gift for me to every reader. Actually, how is the right word in English? In the one, people who read the book is the reader, okay?
Yes.
But how do we say in English someone that buys and plays a oracle card? How is the right word in English?
I guess it would still just be an oracle reader.
Oracle
there is
reader?
I would say an oracle reader. Yeah, there isn't really any other just usually reader across the board works for everything. So that's it. Yeah, I think that's
every reader.
Everybody just if you're picking up the cards and you're looking at you're reading it. So that's pretty much the easy way to go, I would say. But yeah, no, I definitely want to do that though. So if anybody is interested in getting your Orisha's birth chart, you have to go ahead and grab this. I am not going to share it with you, so you have to go get it. But I am certainly going on and going to get it for myself. So
here, page 13.
Yes,
so for those
page
who
13.
have the oracle, in page 13 you have all the instructions to get your full Orisha's birth chart.
That is so cool, though.
You know, Jen, one thing that's very interesting about the Odus and the African Gods Oracle, not only the African Gods Oracle, but the Oracle and the numerology work, is that you get your full birth chart, okay, you'll understand the energies that rule your personality, that makes you be who you are and how you relate to one another, okay. But this is from inside out. This is you putting yourself to the world, how you act and react, how you relate to people, how you deal with financial and scholar and material aspects of your life. Okay. Then, once you get your Orisha's birth chart, once you know, even at the surface, once you know how you put yourself through the world, you can pick a card to understand how the world is going to respond on you.
Right.
And that's the magic of the thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
For example, I have I'm ruled by Yorosun, as we spoke, the ancestors Odu, which is the language, the communication Odu, the language path. So I tend, in every area of my life, in every aspect of my life, is it professional, love relationship, family, well, any aspect of my life, I tend to be much, how is the word in English? I tend to be very teachful. I don't know if that is a real word in English, sorry.
Yeah.
But I tend to be very didactic, you know? I tend to try to explain everything at the bottom and which makes me to talk a lot.
Yeah.
Then,
It's okay.
if
Good.
and,
No,
and
well, yeah, if
imagine
you're in
that
the teaching role, you are always going to be talking. I understand this.
imagine that I'm just like the way I'm here,
Yeah.
and I'm going to a meeting or to a show or something like this, and I pull a card and I ask the oracle what to expect for from the people of this meeting, what to expect from the person I'm going to meet, and Ojolabon comes on, which is the right opposite of Hirosun.
Oh, okay.
Ojolobon is quiet. Ojolobon is a inner person. You know, I don't know
Yeah.
the right expression in English, but it's a very shy person which don't
Right.
talk a lot. I can't go there and
Yeah.
I was scared of the person in front of me. You know,
Right, right.
so I need to balance my birth chart, the others that rule my life,
Yes.
with the ones that I'm going to find in the world, and that's when magic happens.
Right.
You know, I guess that's what makes African Gods Oracle the most powerful tool for day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Right.
much for fortune telling, and this was something that I spoke a lot with Lisa and Rockpool team.
Yeah.
And she said, Diego, you know that people are going to use the oracle for fortune telling. I said, yeah, I can't avoid that. I won't forbid this.
Right.
That's not my place to say something. But that's not the main goal. You
Right.
know, I guess there are a lot of fortune telling oracles that are amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and but I really haven't found it until nowadays. I haven't found a technique, and I'm not talking specifically about this oracle. I guess this is one tool for this technique. You know, the
Yeah.
Odu's assessment to get to know how your inner world puts out and gets with the outer world, and how they mingle with each other, and how you
Right.
can prepare to face this. This is the most powerful tool I know,
Right.
and that's what motivated me to
To
put
do
this in
it.
words and says, people, you can use this. You
Right.
know,
Yeah, and I mean it's really too just making you self-aware. You know, like you were
exactly.
saying, if you're somebody that talks a lot and you come near you come in contact with somebody who isn't a big talker, who's very reserved, you're like, it is intimidating because I'm a talker too, obviously. And it is because you're like, okay, so if I just start going, am I going to scare this person? Are they going to be like a little turtle just going further in their shell? And it is, and you
Exactly.
do have to kind of navigate that a little bit and finding that balance, but it's also knowing that about yourself, because if you're not self-aware, and which I'm sure that you come across those people quite often who are not self-aware, and you're just like, what are you doing? Like, what? And it's like, here, you should just be handling, here's my deck, here, become self-aware. Because it really does help, and it helps you get to know yourself better. It helps you to understand other people better. And, I do love that aspect of the deck too. And, and it's even if people, I feel like, are trying to use it, or they do use it for fortune telling, I think it's going to just kind of come back on them anyway, because those cards are going to pop up that they need to know about.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
do think that it's going, like, the purpose of the deck is going to show itself regardless. So I think that's a very interesting, kind of way to look at it, and to know that if you're going to be like, because if you even pull a card and say, what do I need to know today? I mean, that's exactly what you need to know. Or even if you pull it for
Exactly.
somebody else, that's what they need to know. So,
Exactly.
I think it's just it could be, just it's very helpful, and I love that part of it. And you have like some card spreads even in here too. So there are
Yeah,
some,
yeah.
which I know they, you kind of have to do that, but and I love too that you put these like the ritual, the meditations in here, because that's a really nice way to get to know each card as well, and kind of really step into that energy a little bit more. Now, as
Exactly.
far as, like, say you pick a card and you find one that you want to work with, what's a really good way to work with the Orishas?
Sorry, I couldn't get the question. Sorry.
What is a really good way to work with the Orishas once you're familiar with some of them?
Well, I guess there are sorry, there
No, you're
are
fine.
two main ways of doing this, and
Mhm.
I'll try to look for the right word in English. And in Portuguese, I know the exact word I want to use here,
Right.
but I'll try to. There are the most basic way is to have faith in the Orishas, even though you're initiated or not, if you have a temple nearby your house or not, because Orishas are basically the forces of nature.
Okay.
So since ancient Africa till nowadays, these nature powers, these forces of nature, they defied. I don't know if this is the right word. Deify. They become gods and goddesses
Okay.
because nature has its way of influencing our life.
Okay.
So we have a Orisha that rules the waterfalls and the rivers, and not only because water is the basis of life, but because water teaches us the rivers. Lost the word. Sorry, but
Nope, you're fine.
the movement of the rivers
Okay.
teaches us how to look at life and how to understand that things are not going to be everything like they are today. The water is always moving and something like this. So they have
Right.
the most obvious meaning. They have the most obvious power of nurturing life, but they also have the symbolic meanings of this power. So we have Eshu, which is the god of movement and communication. We have Ogun, which is the god of war and strategy. We have Ochosi, which is the god of hunting and but we live in the cities. We live in urban centers. We don't hunt anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, we hunt every day. We hunt for new opportunities. We hunt a way to grow up to grow in life. We hunt our ways throughout life
Right.
in face of all challenges. This is a symbolic hunting we do every day. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
we have Yemaya, which is the goddess of mental activity and the studies, and the mother of, as we used to call that, Yemaya is the mother of all heads.
Mm-hmm.
She's the mother of all thoughts and thinking. We have Oshun, which is the goddess of love, but most especially the goddess of self-love. And this is something that's actually tricky in the oracle itself, because if I'm asking a question for the oracle for a relationship issue, and the Oshun card or She card comes up, it can mean, yeah, the relationship is well. This is a nice person to be with, but if the negative aspect of the same card comes up, it can says you must first love yourself. Do you love yourself enough to be in a relationship with someone?
Right.
So all gods and goddesses they have, and this is something that amazed me when I first got to know the Orishas, is that yes, they are gods and goddesses, but not like the Christian God, which is all good but only good.
Right.
They are good and bad at the same time. They have potentials, but they also have challenges. They also have these most human feelings.
Right. Yeah. And it makes them relatable, I feel like, too. And it's
Exactly.
relatable. And I think you're more likely to, listen to those, teachings.
Exactly.
And because it's not just like, oh, it's just this glowing guy in the sky and he's perfect.
Exactly. They know what it is to feel like a human.
Yeah.
You know? So the first way to deal with and to get in contact with the Orishas, if you're not initiated, if you don't have this a trustful temple nearby or anything like this, is to recognize, is get to know who are the Orishas by learning, by researching, and to recognize these powers all around us.
Right.
You know, and then that's the tricky way, the tricky words that I don't know if I'm going to use rightful now. So the first way is to worship them.
Okay.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
to really put your faith on it and light a candle, do some offerings that are taught in the booklet of the
Yes.
oracle. Those all rituals that are in the booklet can be done by anyone. They
Okay.
are simple offerings, so you don't need to have any special spiritual preparement for it.
Okay.
That's the first way, but this is the most basic way.
Mm-hmm.
And once you really get in touch with your wishes, and once you see that nature can transform our life, nature powers,
Yes.
so the nature gods and goddesses, they can really transform us.
Right. Right.
Then I guess that the most natural next step would be to really practice the Orishas magic. So look for a trustful temple.
Okay.
Look for a trust priest or priestess.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Candomblé? Is it Santeria? Is it any other denomination? Because throughout Americas, we have a lot of Orishas religions, a lot of Orishas practices that are basically the same thing. They just get these regional differences because the practice in Puerto Rico is different of the practice in Brazil, but they are the same basis.
Yes.
And really look for to get initiation, you know,
Yeah.
because it's not it's kind of devote yourself to the Orishas, and then find out who are your spiritual mother and spiritual father. Get to a Orishal divination. Get to know who are your personal Orishas, and start to create this intimacy with them.
Right.
Because there is a saying, once we get initiated, there's a saying that says we initiate ourselves to the Orishas to become Orishas.
Ah, okay.
And
I like that.
People used to hear this and says, "Oh, so you want to become a god?" No, that's not literal.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah, I would like to be a god, but
I know it'd be nice. I mean, I won't say no, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, if they want to promote me to a god,
right? I'm not gonna say no to them, but
that's not the
you
meaning
know,
of this saying.
right?
The real thing is that once we get initiated, we sparkle the divine part that is inside us.
Yes.
And it starts to live inside of us.
Right.
And each step, each year of initiated, each lesson learned, each day in our life after initiation, we start to become more alike to the Orisha we were initiated to.
Okay.
So that's the true meaning of we initiate Orishas to become an Orisha, to understand the most deepest power of that god or goddess I'm initiated to, and bring that to my life.
Right. Yeah. You know? I mean, I love that too, because it's almost like you're just connecting, like spiritually connecting yourself to nature. You know, it's like you're just like, you know, like just that whole flow of everything, and just, you know, really taking advantage of it, and, you know, in a good way, you know, not in a bad way.
Yeah,
in a good way. But yeah, I mean, it's actually, you know, it sounds really like beautiful when you explain it that way. It's just like, oh, why am I not doing this? You know, just because it is, and again, it just comes down to that self-awareness. And, you know, that's something that I really like. And that's a really big thing that I practice, because there are so many, you know, and whatever anyone practices is fine, and whatever works for them is fine. But for me personally, it's like when you are just fully devoting to something else and not devoting to yourself, it's like, it's kind of, for me, there's like that missing piece there, you know, because again, like it's all connected. So you need to like really, you know, make sure you are devoting yourself as you're being devoted to, you know, these other deities or whatever, you know, what have you. So
you can devote for a force outside by the moment you know that this force is within you.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
it's a two-way road.
It is. It is. And it's
Yeah,
important too to remember that, yeah, these things are magical and they're, all of that, but we're magical too. We're magical beings as well. And respecting
exactly.
that, because I feel like, especially nowadays too, with the internet and all of that, I feel like that's getting lost a little bit because everybody's so concerned about, oh well, I gotta post my altar, I gotta post doing this, I gotta, and I feel like you disconnect a little bit from yourself and your
Hmm.
own magic when you're
Hmm.
doing that, because you're so focused on, it's like your ego's taking over, it's like your magical
Exactly.
ego takes over, and it's like you're so worried about it that you're like, you kind of lose sight of why you're doing it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
I
with,
agree with you. I
it,
totally agree.
it definitely. So I think it's important, and I love that. You grab this oracle deck, and that can help you reconnect too,
Exactly.
and then realize, oh yeah, that's right. I can harness this energy. I can do these things. This is within me too, and about just really being a part of nature, because that's so important to all of our practices, and it's all around us. I mean,
Exactly.
we
Exactly.
go. I mean, the
We
house
are
we're in.
energy.
Yeah, and a house we're in is made of wood. That's nature too, or most times. But I do think that just also it's it helps you. I think this deck too kind of helps you reconnect to the basics of what's important.
Exactly.
And I
And
think
we
that's
can use one can use the oracle for that example we said. Oh, a single card reading. So what's up for today, and then
mm-hmm,
you get that advice for the day. But you can really go deep and deeper in the reading. And yeah, just let me look for the right page here, because there are basically three ways of using the oracle
mm-hmm.
for this self-knowledge and self-empowering way. Because yeah, once you get
Okay.
the cross reading, you can get, oh, how, for the situation put on the question, what's the Odu, what's the energy, and what's the advice for the way I'm dealing with my temperament and intellect aspects.
Right.
But it does. I can think and mentalize one way, but what's the energy and what's the advice for the personal evolution? Because I can think one way and put things in practice the other way around. So how do I want to achieve? How can I want to achieve what I'm thinking if I'm not taking the right steps to it?
Right.
So the five cards will bring you a huge and deeper understanding of these areas of life. What I think is not always the same thing as of what I'm doing in life, the practical way I'm taking life, how I am dealing with and we live in a modern world where everything costs money,
Right.
and this is amazing, but at the same time, this is
Right.
terrible.
It's so
So,
unfair.
I want to exactly. So, I really want to buy my own house and build a family and all. For example, okay, but how am I dealing with my financials
Right.
personally? From inside out, how am my emotions blocking me of becoming a wealthy person or a prosper person? What energy says on the right side card? What energy is ruling my financial aspects, and not the money that comes from outside in, but the way I deal with money and financial in my life.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that remind me, just a quick part here. That remind me a initiate of mine looked for me a few weeks ago, and she asked me, "Oh, I need account. I need an advice because I'm having trouble with money. I'd like to check the oracle, what I can do to prosperity spells and
Right.
open road spells for that, because I'm lack of money." And I asked her, okay, just let me understand a little bit of your present
Mm-hmm.
before we read the oracle, before we read the cowrie shells. Just let me understand. You have you just have one job, a salary job, and that's the money you have every month, or you have other ways of making money. I'm not sure if I'm making sense in English, but
no, you are.
you
Yep,
have,
yep. It does total
and she
sense.
said, no, I have my job, I have my salary, but that's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And the first thing I said to her is, well, how do you want to make more money? How do you want a prosperity spell, a money spell, if you don't have other ways to get money?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just have your daily job. It pays you a fixed salary. Things won't happen as miracle.
Right. Yeah. It's not
And
falling
what's
out of the
happening?
sky.
Exactly. And then I asked her, but what's really happening? Your income is lower than you need. You're
Right.
having some difficulties, some lack of the basics, or have you spent more than you earn, and now you need to?
Right.
Oh no, actually, yeah, I spent more than I earned, and now I need to have some. And I said to her, well, magic happens. These spells exist, and magic will do the thing, but it won't do miracles. You know, you
Right.
spend more than you earn, and you spend not in things you need, but in superficial things.
Yeah,
you know?
just like
Now
random.
now you have to find a practical way. We don't even need to open the oracle. We don't even need to read the oracle. You have a practical issue.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing though, that a lot of people, even with any sort of reading, they come and then you can kind of define it even beforehand because they don't want to look at that part. Like that didn't even come into their realm of possibility because it can't be that. But indeed, it's exactly that.
It is. And when we do that the cross reading, the 5 cards reading, we are forced to look at it.
Yeah.
Because we'll have one card that's saying specifically about your financial and material things. So what's the advice?
Right.
And it's not, and I like to reinforce this. Yeah, if the person has the ability and the skills, the spiritual skills for it, I really believe that the oracle can be used for a fortune telling, even though it's not traditional, and that's the main point.
Right.
Reinforce it's not a traditional way, but yeah, if you have the skills, you can use that your skills. The cards are only the tool,
Right, exactly.
But more than that, the main goal of African Gods Oracle is to look inside and not outside. So when a financial card comes, it's not talking about your job. It's not talking about money opportunities. It's talking about how you relate with your money, how you relate with this energy that moves the world.
Right. Yeah.
So
it does. It has nothing to.
Next card you have and that's the huge magic for me. I'm really passionate about it. When we have to face ourselves. Oh, okay, I have a good card on my financial side, on the Pautun. Then I get the next card, which is relationships, the relationships aspect of my life.
Right.
And then comes a card that says, people are trying to love you, but you are not letting them in.
Right.
How do you want? And this can be contextualized for any area of our life.
Yeah.
In a love relationship, okay, people are trying to love you, but you're not letting them in.
Right.
But in a familiar context, in a professional context,
right? Yeah, any
people
of those.
People are trying to get closer, and
and you're not being nice.
Exactly.
Cut it out. Stop being a jerk.
Or on the other hand, and that's even in the oracle we had the colorful cards, which I call the positive cards, and we have the maroon cards, the opaque cards, which are the negative aspects.
Yeah.
Because we're most talking here about the negative aspects, but we can have a colorful card, a positive answer, saying you are doing all the best and you're doing all right. So reinforce it.
Yeah.
Empower it.
Right.
You don't need to change. You just need to put more efforts on it. You just need to put full on this huge car you have in your hands, you
Yeah,
know?
do something. Yeah, do something. Take more steps towards it. Yeah, no, I love that. And I think it's so important that you had added those positive and negative, and and it doesn't necessarily need to be literal positive or literal negative. It's just
Exactly.
however it's showing up for you. And regardless, it's some sort of advice that you probably need to take. So and you also too you added the four main moon phases in here too. So I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool. So those are these cards, and they're so beautiful. And then the backs are a little bit different there. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit why you decided to add those in.
Because I'm a moon guy. I got a part of all religious background. I've always been a moon guy.
Yeah.
I've always related with the moon phases.
Right.
And I really believe that we not only get influenced by the moon, I guess that's the 101, but that our lives goes on phases just like the moon.
Right.
So
Right.
we can have the same advice, the same situation. Not only the advice, let's talk about practical life, daily life. We live repeatedly the same situations.
Right.
Characters may change, person's name may change, but if you look down to the bottom, we basically live repetition to repetition to repetition to repetition. And what makes this different? What can we make to make things differently? Is to look for, and that's the most deeper meaning of the moon cards.
Right.
Because if I get an advice and I get the full moon, it's basic. This card is saying, go for it, strengthen it, go dive deep on it.
Right. Like
But
the moon
with
is
the
shining
same
on
advice,
it.
exactly, it's
Right.
time to shine.
Yeah.
But if we get the same advice with a waning moon, it says, you're going too strong. Take a breath.
Right.
Slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Because the happiness, all the happiness in life, I really believe what I'm going to say now, happiness, love, money, everything in life comes of balance.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you are seated on a mound of money, if you're spending all that money in health issues, in legal wars,
Right. Right.
Sometimes people with much less money live more than those who sit on top.
Oh, definitely.
And with relationships, the same thing. So all that is in excess, even lack or excess, both opposites. They are not safe. They are not healthy. They are not good. They won't take you anywhere.
Right. Yeah. No
Only
matter what
the
they
balance,
are. Yeah. It doesn't.
No matter what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking to these phases and understanding if it's time to grow up or if it's time to step up or to step over or to empower it or to take down the balance, that's the whole meaning of the card. So I want people, of course, and I've seen your unboxing, the video you posted 2 days ago, and that is one you showed them one use that I haven't thought about, that we can look at the calendar. Oh, it's a new moon phase, so let's put the new moon card and see what's you can assess that moon, the physical moon phase that's happening.
Yeah.
By pulling the card.
Yeah.
And it got me another way to see this is that, because in the regular way of showing, you will pick the moon card, and then you took the one who's going to speak on that reading. But if the person is awakened enough to honestly look at her life and well, I know I'm going too strong in here. I know I'm living in excesses. So let's take the waning moon and ask the oracle, what's the advice to be able
To take it down.
to step down,
Yeah,
you
right.
know? So what's the energy I want to work, and what energy I cannot access right now, but I want to do. So I put the moon card for the advice I want to bring for my life.
Right. Yeah, like
You
just
know,
more
so
specific.
that's another use of the moons. Yeah, what aspect I'm lacking, and I'm asking the oracle to advise me to get.
Yeah. See, I'm a moon girl too. That's actually in my books about the moon. So that's why I was like, oh, moon cards. I was so excited about it. So we are actually almost up to an hour, and I just wanted to also show everyone too. This is one of Diego's other books, Sacred Leaves, and this is from Llewellyn. And this was sent to me. And you know what was really funny when you were talking about balance? And look, I just turned to it again. You have a section in here about balance. Just about you do. And it was funny because when I picked it up before and I looked, I was kind of like reading it. I'm like, oh yeah, no, balance, totally, yeah. And then you were talking about, and then I just pulled it again. So I really, this has a lot of great information in it too, and I love how it's set up. And I like too how just the font, like the way the lettering is and all that
are really beautiful.
Yeah, I really like how that is, and there's just a lot of really interesting information in here too. And I think this is all of your books are really interesting, Diego. Like I'm just like looking, I'm just like I want to read I just want to like read my head. But I think too, and I really give you like it definitely probably took a lot of just time and research too to really do all these and like I said, I just did that one on the moon and that was it. And you kind of like covered everything. So I give you lots of credit for that because that's a lot to put into it for sure. But we are, like I said, we are come up to an hour, and before any other sort of thing kicks us off, because I feel like we can keep going for like 7 more hours.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have more stuff coming out at some point. So why don't you tell us about your upcoming projects before we go?
Well, upcoming projects in English, the most recent is African Gods Oracle. And then we'll start a huge efforts in English for English speakers on the cards and on the previous books published. So I have traditional Brazilian Black Magic book traditional Brazilian Black Magic, which was my first book in English, the Afro-Brazilian numerology book, the Sacred Leaves, and now the amazing Oracle deck.
Yes.
Apart of that, in Brazil, I'm just releasing a new book on another kind of oracle, which is the Brazilian Black Magic traditional oracle.
Ooh.
It don't have a English release date yet, but people who speak Portuguese or who speaks Spanish and wants to try out, you can find it on I guess a lot of websites, or in my website you can get in touch and we send overseas. And this year, I'm going to focus on these 2 oracles, the card deck and the traditional Black Magic oracle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome.
And we are organizing 2. I run a religious temple in Brazil, a Orishas temple in Brazil. And we'll have next April, we have a whole English week for first degree initiations and lectures and cultural activities in Brazil for English speakers. We are receiving some Americans and some European persons for initiation.
Oh, wow.
And we are trying to organize a second round for October or November. So people who wants to know more and get in touch with the Orishas and practice the true religion, they can get in touch with me on social networks or email and get to know about this. And this year I have this whole oracle devoted year. So the card deck and the traditional Black Magic oracle. And hopefully next year a US author rounding. I'm planning to go to Salem, to New York, and to Texas for some live events. So people can reach me out on Instagram. I guess that's the best way to get to know me, at Diego de Oxóssi with an X, just like my name. And you can follow there. I'm trying to put some English contents there too.
Okay.
And I'm all that. Apart of running my business, apart of
Right.
running the temple, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
another.
What else, Diego? That's like nothing. What do you mean? No, I'm kidding. No, you have a lot going on. And also, too, I'm going to tag all your information when I post everything, too. So then you can go ahead.
Great.
And the African Gods Oracle is available now at all of your favorite places. And definitely get it so you can go get your
Orisha's
birth chart, because that's really cool. And yeah, it's a gorgeous deck. Congratulations. What?
I remember one thing.
Oh wait, tell me.
I'm sorry for that, because up to last month we didn't have this in America, but people can look for. Can I say company's name here?
Yeah.
Yeah, can I do some advertising here?
Yeah, do some. It's my rules. You do whatever you want.
Based on the Sacred Leaves book, I have a essential oil and aromatherapy incenses that just got in America, and you can buy it on Amazon.com. So just look for Diego de Oshosi incenses, and you can find there are 8 fragrances.
Okay.
They are made with essential oils, so they are rituals in a stick. You can really use the incenses for magic rituals. They have 100% essential oils and florals. So that's a ritual in a stick.
Yeah.
Go to Amazon, get to know the incenses.
Yeah, I'm going to go get some incenses. Yeah. I was actually looking for some before I started, and I'm like almost out. So it's perfect timing.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you remembered that.
I remember that it reached America. It's about a month now that they are on Amazon. And
that's exciting, though. Awesome.
Less shipping.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I love everything that you're doing, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon. And you have a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And, I will be posting this on the podcast as well, so keep an eye out for that. And have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Just a minute. Trying to. All right, we're just going to be live forever then, because it's just everything is not working. Okay, really for real, everybody. Goodbye. Okay. Okay. We are